Hi, my name is Tina from Meaningful Explorations, and today I've got a fun video for you. This is part one of a two-part series, Interview with a Grad. Hi everyone, today we're sitting here with my oldest boy and my first graduate. And I have a bunch of questions that my graduates and I came up with that we thought you might like to, get to know us a little better and what it's like to have a graduate, because now I've graduated 2 kids.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
It's a ride.
Okay, so my first question is, what is your favorite memory from your career as a homeschooler?
Oh, I only get to pick one?
I don't care.
Favorite memory. Oh, I don't know. It depends on how far back you go. You can go back to like grade 2. We had, I'm sure you've heard it before, but we were from Germany, and there's always this tradition that on St. Martin's Day, you made paper lanterns and you kind of marched them around singing a song, like singing a set of songs that were corresponding to that, and you celebrated St. Martin's Day. It came somewhere. It was usually someone's home at the end of the parade.
Yeah.
It was really just a bunch of kids with lanterns, really. It wasn't anything that fancy. But
No, it was...
you walked around for a bit, you sang the songs, you came to the end. It's usually at someone's house. You lit a bonfire, and you ate baked figures of...
The Vekmena. No, it was Vekmena.
Yeah, what are they?
I don't know.
Dudes with a pipe.
They're like dudes with a pipe.
Little baked dudes with a pipe.
Yeah, like little doughboys.
I think that's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah. Okay. What is your least favorite memory from homeschooling?
High school math.
Okay.
Move on.
What was your favorite project?
Favorite project? As much as I really didn't enjoy reading The Cottage at Bantry Bay, at the end of the first book, that was maybe grade 5?
4 or 5, somewhere around there.
As a reading comp sort of activity, you had us design a travel brochure for Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked doing that.
Okay.
That was a project that I really enjoyed.
I thought you were going to say like the law video.
The law video was fun. Don't watch it, it's terrible. That was fun. That was fun too. But I also, going a little bit further into like high school, one of my favorite projects would have to be the time that I had to rewrite the to be or not to be soliloquy from
Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Hamlet. we know what we're doing.
I know, I promise. Promise.
Okay. Number 4. What was your least favorite assignment, project, or class?
I'm gonna say high school math again, but that seems like saying the same thing over again. I did not like French online in grade 3.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. In your opinion, what benefits have you had from homeschooling?
An appreciation, I think, for self-directed learning.
Okay. Do you have any regrets? Is there something you wish that we had done differently?
Yeah. For a bit of context, in high school, I started with the same school association, the same school board that I had for pretty much grades like 5 and onwards. Mm-hmm. But then for grade 11, I thought, I'm not terribly happy with this. Grass is greener on the other side sort of thing. We switched school boards and ended up switching back for grade 12, and that was a lot of stress that I think could have been avoided. I did enjoy the English class that I was able to get through that other school board, but I think by and large could have avoided that, could have saved a ton of stress.
Okay. What song would you use to describe your high school years? Who came up with this question?
That was Maria.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a specific song.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
More or less. I don't know. It goes through like phases.
Okay.
Where like sometimes you feel a bit like the "We Are the Champions" song from Queen one day, and the next moment you're like the probably not overly popular in North America, but the Sasha song "Paralyzed." I'm like stuck. I can't find a rhyme.
We'll put a link.
We'll put a link to the YouTube video. Like
yes.
Stuck.
Yes. That song was like my theme song of the pandemic, lockdown.
That was the Sound of Silence, that Disturbed cover. That is so creepy song.
Okay. So what's something that you likely would not have learned in a brick and mortar school?
Oh, well,
that you learned
that's a long
at home.
list. Like, I learned how to cook.
I didn't learn how to cook in
I
school
can
either.
cook to some degree. I learned how to fix a car, like basic car maintenance, how to buy a car, contact the insurance agent, and all that stuff. Like, I think I
that was
learned
actually we used a homeschool curriculum for that. That was auto upkeep, I think.
Yeah.
If I can find a link to that, I will put it down in the box below.
Yeah. No, that was good.
That was okay. And how to change diapers. Just kidding.
Yes, how to change diapers.
So, okay. Will you homeschool your children someday?
Yes, for sure. If I can convince future spouse that that's a good idea.
Because you're not going to be...
It's probably going to be a long discussion, because as much as I'm like, yes, I want my kids to be homeschooled, I also don't want to be the stay-at-home parent.
Fair enough. Okay, let's play Never Will I Ever with my kids. So you said you wanted homeschool. Never will I ever
use homework as a punishment.
Okay. No comment. How has homeschooling benefited you in college?
I think it goes back to one of the benefits of homeschooling that we mentioned earlier. It's just self-learning and appreciation that not everything that you could want to learn or that is useful to learn about any given subject will be contained in the textbook that you were given.
Well, I think another thing too, when you came from college, you got kicked out of typing class.
I did get kicked out of typing class. That was great. My teacher approached me at one point and was like, okay, man, you're working through the curriculum here way too quickly. You gotta slow down. You're ahead of everybody else. And within a couple of weeks after that, initially what they wanted me to do was to take an advanced typing test, and then they would just give me an A+. But I screwed up.
You got nervous.
I got nervous, and I made a number of errors in my test. Just a typing test, typing spelling errors. So I didn't pass that. But very, very shortly afterwards, I was done the rest of the curriculum anyway. I was typing at twice the speed required for the program, so they just said, stay home.
So,
you can come to class.
Teach your kids how to type. It comes in handy.
Certainly does.
Oh, right. So what's the one thing you hated growing up as a homeschooler?
Being pestered by random strangers. I mean, when you're a kid, and I'm sure any kid or, recently, like high school kid or recent graduate, whenever you go out somewhere and to an event or party or work, and people introduce themselves to you and you introduce yourself to them, one of the first questions they always ask a young person is either what grade are you in, if they're young enough, or if they're old enough, what are you studying? And when I was about 17 and I started working, and everybody was asking me, what grade are you in? And at that point, I was technically in grade 11 and 12 at the same time.
Yeah. It happens.
It was an explanation. It was a process to explain it. And then after you finished explaining that you're in both grades and that you're homeschooling, then you're like, oh, but what about this or that thing? Like, don't you get socialized? You have no friends. How do you make friends? Like,
yeah, all the questions.
Is your mom a teacher? Does she have a degree? Is she qualified? Yes, she is. End of conversation.
Yes. Who influenced you the most, do you think, during your homeschool years? Other than me, like, obviously, or your dad. Was there... Our kids took some online classes, and they did outside of the home activities as well. So was there...
Well, like I said, we did switch to a school board for grade 11.
It was online. It was basically online classes.
Yeah. All the classes were online. They were teacher directed, so it was a lot like brick and mortar, just at home.
Kind of like what's been going on for most schools in the past couple of months.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I had a teacher there. I did 11 and 12 English in the same year. I did my 20 and 30 level, if you're familiar with how the Alberta high school
Curriculum.
nomenclature works. And he was absolutely excellent. And there was one assignment where I had to defend Hamlet.
I thought it was Macbeth.
No, it was Hamlet.
Oh.
And I had to defend him. No, you're right.
It was Macbeth.
Hamlet was where I had to diagnose his condition and pretend I was a psychologist. It was Macbeth where I had to pretend to be a lawyer.
Yes, get him off the hook.
Defend his position.
And it was a defense speech,
It was
right?
a defense speech. And I wrote one, and my teacher, after looking at it, he gave me, like, I got top marks for that. But he took the time to personally email me and say, look, this was impressive. Mm-hmm. You should consider going to law. And, well, I'm on the way now.
Yeah.
In a way, anyway.
Yeah. So this is my last question. What is something that you recommend every homeschooler try?
Like new homeschooling?
Every homeschooler
in general.
Something that they should do during the homeschool career that they might not otherwise, because they're, have to do things that, are regulation. Like obviously there's different places have different regulations, but if in an ideal world, every homeschooler has a chance to do one thing, what would you recommend they do?
Take a year away from academics. I did a year in grade 8 or grade 9 where I did my math and whatever, like the required academics, but we really took a year where there wasn't a focus on textbooks at all, and I spent the year reading mostly living literature and studying World War I. And I think if you can take the opportunity, have the chance to take a year away from the academics and focus on something else
that you're interested
something
in.
That you're interested in. Be that history, it could be English and writing.
It could be science.
It could be science. It could be geography. It could be something that
I think what you mean is what the child is passionate about.
A passion that the child has, and if you can take a year, set some of the academia aside. And focus on that.
Because you learn, it's not like you setting aside the academia, because you actually learned a lot that year. It's
I'm not saying, take a long summer and just do math. But do something, do something that maybe isn't your typical English, math, science, social studies textbooks. Do the minimum of what you got to do, but then fill in everything else with a topic that the child is super passionate about. And I learned, I think, way more through that year than I did maybe in previous years where I had a curriculum that came out of a box and you filled in the little boxes. And I mean, that was good too. That worked. But I really did enjoy that, and I think that's worth a shot.
think that's
if you can do it.
Where your path really began. Your self-motivated learning, your taking ownership for your academics.
Absolutely.
That's where that really came in. So if I can see that being a reason. Well, I don't think I introduced. This is my oldest son, Noah.
We're going to do this backwards.
We're going to do this backwards. This is my son, Noah, and he's now going into his second year in college.
Yes.
And as a legal assistant, and then hoping to further studies.
Yeah, I've got to practice for my LSATs. Got to take those soon.
And then hopefully one day, God willing, become a lawyer. I think that's the plan right now. Maybe it'll change. And he's also my editor and videographer, and he has his own photography channel, so we'll link that down below and you can take a look. And he's got lots of tutorials, and that's all self-taught. You didn't take any? I thought you took photography.
No, I took visual composition, but when it came down to taking photography or forensic science, I took forensic science.
Yeah, that's an interesting class.
That was lots an interesting class. Oh yeah.
That's not the recommendation. Take forensic science if you can.
No, that's not for everybody.
All right. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.